Bitcoin has faced much criticism over its environmental impact, but could crypto mining actually inspire a move towards better use of green energy? Welcome to the Daily Forkast, March 16th, 2022. I'm Angie Lau, Editor-in-Chief of Forkast, covering all things blockchain. While the United Nations agrees that the world is making progress towards the use of renewable energy, it says more still needs to be done. Well, now one Australian Bitcoin mining company says the industry could help solve a problem that's been holding that transition back. We're going to take a look at that story, plus a whole lot more coming up. Let's get you up to speed from Asia to the world.
Join thousands of NFT traders who already start their day on CryptoSlam.
Well, let's kick off with a roundup of crypto crime busting action around the region, specifically China here. Let's start there. China's Consumer Rights Day saw a number of crypto-related crimes exposed. Now, this day is a major social media and TV event in the country, naming and shaming brands over consumer issues, as well as featuring consumer education campaigns. No matter how big or small, no firm is safe. Apple, by the way, was once a public target. Well, this year, crypto seemed to take center stage. In Shanghai, the Public Security Bureau, or PSB, says it broke up a crypto-based pyramid scheme with over 60,000 investors involved. Now, Chinese authorities say the organization collected over 100 million yuan, or roughly $15.6 million from investors. Meanwhile, in Beijing, a state-owned television station focused on rug pulls, when scammers pump up their token before disappearing with all the funds. Well, one man from the northeastern province of Heilongjiang said his wife had the rug pulled on her investment, with the perpetrators using China's crypto ban as an excuse. While a reporter who spied on the OSK Coins community said they saw the price of the coin drop 90% in a day after the rug was pulled. Not only that, the Beijing Banking and Insurance Regulator Bureau issued a warning against scams in the name of metaverse and blockchain games. The Bureau said the scams encourage college students to purchase crypto game props to invest in the project. So interesting to note here how heavily the crypto world was featured this year in an event that often sees big names singled out for criticism in China. Meanwhile, over in Kazakhstan, several notable figures have been busted for illegal crypto mining activities. Among them, Bolat Nazarbayev, the brother of former President Nursultan Nazarbayev, along with Alexander Klebanov, chairman of the Central Asian Electric Power Corporation, and Karat Itijamanov, who is listed by Forbes as Kazakhstan's 17th richest man. Now, the country's financial monitoring agency said operations at a total of 106 illegal crypto mines have been halted, with daily electricity consumption decreasing by 600 megawatts per hour as a result. That's a big deal for the Central Asian country, which has been dealing with power shortages after crypto miners flocked there following China's mining ban. You can find those stories and more at Forkast.News. Now, speaking of the Bitcoin mining industry, could it offer a solution to a renewable energy dilemma? While Bitcoin is often criticized for its environmental impact, there are some within the industry who argue that it could help countries like Australia solve a riddle that's currently blocking the uptake of renewable energy. Forkast's Lachlan Keller investigates from Melbourne, Australia.
Australia is blessed with an abundance of renewable energy sources, particularly solar energy. However, it's also hamstrung by a mismatch between peak green energy generation and peak consumption hours. And that's left many Australian homeowners who installed rooftop solar panels frustrated at the plummeting price they receive for selling energy back to the grid. Not only that, the country's coal-powered thermal plants that are needed to supplement the grid at night operate 24 hours a day, exacerbating the daytime glut. And this is where Bitcoin mining could step in, with experts saying it could boost energy consumption at certain times of the day, thus creating a more stable demand level, which should boost the prices the suppliers of renewable energy are paid. And Australia's Iris Energy hopes that will encourage new investment in the sector.
If we bring in load that solves that, all of a sudden there's a market price signal to build out more renewables. to retire that legacy fossil fuel generation, because you can't retire that legacy fossil fuel generation because there's not enough renewables in the mix.
Robert says their system only uses power when there is excess energy, and that the same philosophy applies to changing weather.
When the wind blows, the sun shines, we take that power, monetize it into Bitcoin. When there's a weather event, network outage, we throttle down the frequency of these chips, dynamically adjust our energy consumption.
However, one renewable energy expert told Forkast he isn't sure about the long-term viability of the idea.
From a macro perspective, anything that can help stabilize the grid is a positive thing. Will it actually have a meaningful stability outcome? I'm not sure. I think, to be honest, what we really need is storage. And I think that really is the way to sort out our grid long term.
The United Nations has a goal of making sustainable power available for everyone. And while that remains a long way off, we'll be keeping watch to see what part Bitcoin mining does or doesn't end up playing. For Forkast, I'm Lachlan Keller in Melbourne, Australia.
Warner Brothers is jumping in the deep end when it comes to NFTs, the studio announcing plans to release millions of DC Comics themed hybrid physical trading cards that are tied to redeemable NFTs. Prices range from $5 to $120 a pack. Will there be an audience? Johan Kalpu, VP, Chief Marketing Officer of CryptoSlam, a cross-chain NFT data tracker and aggregator, joins us now to discuss that and a whole lot more going on in the space. Great to have you with us, Johan.
Thanks for having me, Angie.
I don't know about you, but comic book fans around the world, how are they going to feel about this? This is probably the largest haul of NFTs yet. Warner Brothers coming out with a hybrid cards of over 150 superheroes, where a fan engagement platform will deliver the NFTs of your card. Given the popularity of DC Comics, what are the excitement levels going to be, you think?
If I know comic book fans, they're going to be very excited and they're going to spend a lot of money on them. It's just things that comic book lovers do. So I think it's perfect for NFTs.
Yeah, once upon a time you bought the card and then 20, 30 years later nostalgia reigns in and these are all the collectibles. Is there a vision for this type of marketplace with digital NFTs and digital collectibles?
So if you have an IP that's very legacy and older, but still very relevant, you can bring that to the NFT market and collectors are going to collect it. And digital collectibles have like a whole host of different benefits when compared to physical. You can't lose them in the fire, your mom can't throw them away. There's just so many benefits to having them. Rarity, you can see the actual supply of them. Everything's transparent and on-chain, easily tradable. Marketplaces exist around the world. You can find a buyer in Switzerland, you can find a buyer in Jamaica. Whoever loves these comics can buy them very easily.
The company is also planning to issue limited edition cards based on the latest Batman movie. Reports are that we might even see AMC, the theater chain, minting an NFT of Robert Pattinson's Batman voice. What's changing about the digital collectibles space? How is it being reimagined right now? And what does it mean for the marketplace that you're monitoring over there at CryptoSlam?
We're seeing a flood of new projects coming on board using IP in different way. What's new about the existing and older brands coming in is that they're finally seeing the use of the technology, whereas only early adopters did before. And now you're seeing all of this new IP come on chain, and the validation of the technology is here. When big brands do come in, they do tend to make mistakes. We saw that with some of the earlier big brands that came in, and they had a little bit of different strategy after a few months. So I definitely do see them having different strategies, but it's a testing waters at this point in time. It's still early. And when people figure it out, when people figure out their product market fit, then I think we'll see a larger scale rollout to the mass audiences, which we are seeing now. So a lot of that has actually already taken place, but some big brands who are newer to the space and only coming in 2022 are still trying to find their bearings.
Speaking of rollouts, before I let you go, I gotta ask you about this NFT vending machine situation popping up all over New York City. And the fun part, apparently, it's all a surprise. No one has any idea of what they're about to buy when they purchase an NFT. But what do you think of this? What do you think of this as the newest wave of NFT demand?
I think it's great for the younger crowd, the people who want to spend $1 to $5, the kid who can't afford hardly anyone can afford a Bored Ape, but the kid that wants to get like $1 to $5 NFTs, that's perfect for them. That's a new person in the economy. That's a new person understanding NFTs. That's a new person appreciating digital collectibles. So I think it's a great idea.
And that's what it's all about when it comes to this space: innovation and also mass adoption. It is the holy grail, as they say. Johan, really appreciate your insights today.
Thanks, Angie. Pleasure.
Well, speaking of NFTs, Forkast is putting the final finishing touches on Forkast's State of NFTs report. We're crunching the numbers, and we will bring you the stories behind the headlines. What's driving adoption? What's the next use case you haven't heard of yet? And how is Asia's uptake in NFTs creating a hotbed for opportunity for both developers and everyday people? Stay tuned. We'll have more for you right here and on Forkast.News. And that's the Daily Forkast, bringing you everything you need to know about blockchain world from our vantage point right here in Asia. I'm Forkast Editor-in-Chief Angie Lau. Until the next time.